Well, good evening, everyone. Paul Espinosa, for those of you that I may not know, you may be familiar with my father, Victor Espinosa, who's, of course, still trains, has a small breeding operation, has a couple 3-year-olds, in training, and obviously always enjoyed coming over and watching those horses run. I just want to really congratulate you on a really exciting year. Was very fortunate to be able to be here for not only the Charlestown Classic, but the Breeders' Classics. Again, certainly try to get over whenever I can for various regular overnight racing cards. And again, just really excited about the quality of the program that you're offering. And I realize it starts with you all, the thoroughbred breeders, and really helping that our breed to continue to improve. So just congratulate you there. Would certainly reiterate what both Mary and Senator Rucker have indicated regarding the opportunity that's before you. The actual date where legislators are scheduled to be here at Charlestown at the racetrack and then at one of the area farms, Maria can fill you in on some of the details, perhaps you will here before we leave. But that'll be Tuesday, November 15th, so you might want to jot that down on your calendar. Tuesday, November 15th, the bus leaves Cacapen State Park over in Berkeley Springs at 8 a.m. and I think they're scheduled to be here at the track at 9 a.m. So that's when you'll probably see somewhere on the grounds here, you'll see a big 50-passenger electric school bus. You may be aware that West Virginia passed some legislation to make it possible for a manufacturer of electric school buses to locate down near Charleston. So they're gonna be showing off these big electric school buses. So that'll be your sign that they're here in the area when you see those big electric school buses that'll be here. And so again, they'll be here probably at the track, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Maria, but I think between 9 and about 11:30. At some point after they see they'll watch some of the workouts. My understanding is that the track will be open for training that morning. I don't know if Tuesday's a normal training day, yeah. but they'll be training. And the one thing I've really emphasized to Maria and the other folks that are kind of organizing this is you just got to let as much interaction with the people as possible. I think that's one of the things I really commend Senator Rucker, my former House colleague Jill Upson, who helped facilitate the Women in Racing initiative where you'd have lunch with the legislators down in Charleston. I just can't tell you how powerful that is. When legislators can make that connection and realize it's not just about money going into purse funds and that going into somebody's bank account, but it's about employing folks and allowing you all to employ folks. I think that's what's really powerful. So hopefully those will be some of the things that you'll continue to focus on and just try to educate our members. Just to give you a little sense as to how this tour kind of came about, some of you were involved in a smaller visit that we had, I think it was either last year or the year before, where we had the majority leader of the House, Amy Summers, was here. Our chief of staff in the House was here. Delegate Clark, myself, I think Senator Rucker, I believe, participated in that a little bit. And the leadership, the staff was so impressed by what they saw that day. I believe they were out at John and Cindy's farm. They went down to Taylor Mountain Farm. Tim, I don't know if they made it out to your farm that particular day, but they were just so impressed by what they saw. Then they finally went out to, I think, Jeff Runco's, Susan and Jeff Runco's farm. They were so impressed by what they saw that when this opportunity came up, when interims were scheduled in the Eastern Panhandle, and they were thinking about what are some excursions that we might want to do, that was one of the first things that the staff spoke up and said, hey, that was such a great tour of the farm. Do you think we could do that again? I said, Phil, I think we can do it again. Absolutely we can. So we don't know for sure exactly how many legislators will sign up for that. It'll be, there'll be several options for legislators to choose from. Each bus accommodates up to 50 individuals, so that will probably be the maximum that you might have here. But any legislators that you can get over here, that just helps to, again, be able to educate them, help them understand what racing is about, the impact it has on our community, and it's just a great opportunity. So again, just would encourage you, to the extent that you might have some interaction with some of those folks is, I think, Marie, I think you're hoping to maybe try to get them down into the barn area so that they can actually, interact with some of the staff down there and see some of the horses up close. Obviously be able to do that out of one of the farms, but that is just so powerful. And each and every election cycle in the House, all 100 members are up for election every 2 years. We usually have about a third of our 100 members that'll change. Some of them go on to the Senate. Some of them just decide, I've done my duty and I'm ready to move on to some other things. So it's a constant education process because you have new members every year. You'll have the same thing in the Senate. You'll have some new members. So the more we can continue to educate them, the better. And that just helps us as we're considering legislation down there. You're not starting at square one. They at least have a little sense. They can say, oh yeah, I saw that. I can understand what these horsemen and women do here in the Eastern Panhandle. So just definitely take advantage of that. Very pleased, as Mary indicated, I do serve on the House Finance Committee, and while Patricia, we're very fortunate to have her on that rulemaking review committee that looks over rules before they're approved by the legislature. They ultimately come through the House Finance Committee, and the Senate Finance Committee is typically where those rules are. So I do have an opportunity to also work very closely with Senator Rucker just to make sure that if there's any attempts to change those rules, that we're all on the same page and we make sure we've got your feedback there. Certainly recognize that HIS has been just a big challenge. Unfortunately, elections have consequences, and that's something that the current administration has decided to move forward with. But I think we are all committed to trying to do whatever we can do at a state level to try to make those, the adoption of those rules, try to make it less harmful, less challenging for you as we can. So certainly welcome your input as to what we can do, and certainly we'll work very closely with Ken and the Race Commission to do our level best to try to make the best of a bad situation with those rules. I know, Mary, you had asked at some point we talk a little bit about some of the amendments. Why don't I maybe stop here at some point? Certainly happy to discuss those. Certainly want to get around to hearing more about what you all think is important, some of the things you'd like us to hear. So with that, I'll turn it over to Delegate Clark.